hear a lot of people say they can't afford to eat healthy food, but I disagree. I think the reality is we don't know how to eat healthy food. The average person in the third world spends a couple dollars a day on food, and they eat a lot healthier than most Americans. So the first way to eat healthy food is to learn to prepare your own food. And I'm as guilty of this as anyone. As I've said in the past, I'm a terrible cook, but it's a long learning process to be able to prepare your own food versus buying pre-processed food, which isn't healthy and is overpriced and is probably going to leave you deficient in nutrition and make you want to eat more. So if you can't afford to eat healthy food today, think about what you're going to do in the future, potentially when food costs a lot more. You're going to have to learn to prepare your own food quite possibly at some point. The sooner you start, the better, because it is a long learning process. Another one of my favorite tips for saving money on grocery bills, especially here in Los Angeles and I think in many other big cities around the United States, is to shop at ethnic stores. Places like Latin markets, Asian markets. In Los Angeles, there's a great Armenian chain called John's. I always save at least 50% on a given basket of groceries in these stores versus an American chain store. And most people just have a mental block against shopping in ethnic markets. I used to live in a kind of wealthy neighborhood, and right down the hill was a Mexican market. Every single person in that wealthy neighborhood would drive past the Mexican market, would drive another 15 minutes to go to a different posh neighborhood where there was an American chain store, and they'd pay 3 times as much money for produce and get stuff that wasn't as fresh. Another way that you can sometimes save a lot of money for certain items in certain areas is to buy direct from a wholesaler. If you can find a wholesaler who will sell to you, particularly for items like dried fruit or nuts or frozen fish, there's often a wholesaler who will sell direct in bulk to the public. You can save at least 50% this way. It doesn't work for everybody and doesn't work for every item, but it's worth looking into sometimes if you buy an expensive item and you buy a lot of that expensive item. Probably the best way to save money and eat fresh, healthy food is what everybody knows, to grow your own food. But people don't do this because they think it's really difficult. If you can grow a lawn and ornamental trees in your yard, there are certain types of greens and herbs and fruit trees that are just about as easy to grow as a lawn. You can throw some arugula seeds on the ground. They grow just like grass practically. Same thing with a lot of herbs and other types of greens. And if you find the fruit trees that grow well in your area, they'll grow just as well as an ornamental tree in your yard. So gardening doesn't have to be as difficult as you might think it is. Of course, the more effort you put into it, the better produce you can grow, but you can do certain things pretty easily. And my last and perhaps most important tip for eating healthy, inexpensive food is to network with other people. Network with people who are into a healthy diet, and in particular, network with immigrants who actually know how to prepare healthy food inexpensively. These people are going to know where to shop, they're going to know new recipes that you're not aware of. And also when you network, if somebody happens to be across town at a certain store, they can pick up items for you and you can do the same for them. I think networking is perhaps the best way to save money. So those are just the ways I've found over the years to save probably more than 50% on my grocery bill every month. But I'm not an expert on this topic, and I know not all of those suggestions apply to everyone, so I would really welcome hearing from you in the comments section as to how you save money on your grocery bill.